After their magical run through the 2019 postseason, the Portland Trail Blazers now head into a very important offseason. And one of the most important things about this offseason is whether or not Portland offers Damian Lillard the Supermax and whether or not he'll take it. Now, Damian Lillard qualified for the Supermax by making All-NBA second team this season, and basically, he's eligible to make a lot of bank. For anybody who doesn't know what a Supermax contract extension is, basically it's an extension where a player starts off by making 35% of the salary cap, and they're also able to make 8% raises starting off from that 35%. They can also sign this extension a couple years early. Damian Lillard's contract doesn't run out till 2021, so if he does sign a Supermax extension, it would start in 2021 and head through 2025. Because he's signing it 2 years out, he could only extend it 4 seasons. If he decided to wait until next summer to sign a Supermax, then he could sign an extension the length of 5 seasons. This is for the best players in the NBA, and they qualify those guys by Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, and All-NBA teams. It's a rare extension that only few players have seen. Blake Griffin, John Wall, Russell Westbrook, and now Damian Lillard has the chance to sign one. For players with 6 to 9 years of experience in Dame's position, they can only sign for 30% of the salary cap and no more. That is their max. But the Supermax, as I said, lets you sign for 35%. When you're talking about a salary cap that's over $100 million, you're talking about the difference between $6 and $8 million a year. In terms of a 5-year contract, that's upwards of $40 million, $45 million a year. It's a very big difference. Now, rumors are Dame is interested in signing the Supermax extension this summer, which would keep him in Portland until at least the 2024 off-season. Now, he would sign it through 2025, but reports indicate that he would want a player option in that final year, which is of course something he didn't ask for in his rookie extension, which is why he doesn't have a player option for 2020 and 2021. But regardless, it would keep Dame around for at least 5 years from now. But this has sparked a debate amongst Blazer fans as to whether he deserves the Supermax, whether the Blazers should pay him the Supermax, whether or not Dame should leave money on the table, and those are all things that I'm going to address. First, Dame definitely does deserve the Supermax. In my opinion, he's a top 10 player in the league, but not only is he a great player, he also sets the culture. He's one of the top 3 leaders in the league, and I don't even know who I'd put up there with him. He's a great leader, and anytime you get a player that good, that is willing to stay in Portland, you pay him. Now, you'd be looking at Damian Lillard making almost $50 million in his final season, so I understand why some fans say, oh, nobody deserves that, but what you also got to remember is that the salary cap in 2023-2024 could be above $130 million. Next offseason is going to raise to 109, the offseason after that it should raise to 116, and if it keeps raising like that, by the time Dame is making $50 million, it's not going to be as bad as it seems because the salary cap is going to be a whopping $130 million. In the simplest terms, he deserves it because he made All-NBA last season. He qualifies for it, and not many players have. While you could look at Blake Griffin and say, oh, that's a bad contract, he has some legitimate injury questions, which is a legitimate reason to say he's not worth that contract. I still think he is because he's a great player, but injuries have definitely made that contract questionable. For John Wall, injuries have made his contract one of the worst contracts in sports because it's likely that John Wall doesn't even play next season due to his Achilles tear. People could also say Russell Westbrook doesn't deserve it, and we saw that firsthand in the first round. But that's more so because of how weird his game is and how it doesn't really have the ability to mesh with other players. Does Dame have any of those problems? No, he doesn't have any of those problems. He hasn't been injured really at all during his career, knock on wood, and his game doesn't have the questions that Russell Westbrook's does. He's not a shot chucker like Westbrook, he's not a stat chaser like Westbrook, he's not a guy that won't be willing to give CJ McCollum the ball to close out a game if CJ is hot. We saw that in Game 7. Dame did the anti-Russell Westbrook by letting CJ take over and carry the team on his back, while Russell Westbrook probably would have forced a lot of shots and and lost the team that game. So in terms of comparing Dame to these other Supermax players, I don't think you can do it fairly, because Dame is more deserving than all these players when it comes to the Supermax. Not only is he a better player, not only is he a better leader, but he also doesn't have the same concerns. For those reasons, I think he's worth signing the Supermax, which I know some Blazer fans actually disagree with. One of the arguments I've heard is for Portland to wait until 2021 and then try and re-sign Dame, but what people don't realize is that doesn't help out our cap situation at all. I fully expect Dame to continue making all NBA teams and be eligible for a Supermax extension in 2021, and either re-sign that, and if Portland isn't willing to give him it, then he might leave. So in the end, in the most likely scenario, in 2021, you're going to be forced to pay Dame the Supermax. And if you turn down paying him the Supermax in previous off seasons, that actually increases his chance to leave. And I don't care what anybody says, Damian Lillard leaving would be an apocalyptic scenario for the Portland Trail Blazers. I'd much rather give Dame twice the Supermax than have him leave. So I don't think you can put that at risk to wait till 2021 when it doesn't even help you. I think a common misconception is, oh, in the 2021 offseason, Damian Lillard's salary won't be on the books, so that's all that extra cap room that they could use to try and sign a star, then they could use Dame's bird rights and sign him to the Supermax. But what some people don't realize is, when you have bird rights on a free agent, they have a certain amount of money that counts towards the salary cap called a cap hold. Now, for players making around $30 million a year, if you want to keep their bird rights, 150% of their previous contract is counted towards the salary cap. Now, Dame makes $34 million or something like that in his last year of his contract in 2021, but let's say hypothetically he made $30 million. In order to keep Dame's bird rights, they would have a cap hold against the salary cap of $45 million. That's more than Damian Lillard could re-sign for. So waiting until 2021 actually means we'd have less cap space than if we just re-signed him to a Supermax now. So there is literally no scenario where waiting to extend Dame's Supermax helps us. There is no scenario where it increases our flexibility. So waiting makes literally no sense whatsoever. By signing it now and only having it being a 4-year extension, that actually helps Portland, because if they wait another year and make that a 5-year extension through 2025, that's another $50 million or so they're adding on to Dame when he's a year older. You're talking about paying Dame an extra $50 million when he's turning 35. But if you sign a Supermax now, and then you re-sign him after only the 4-year extension, you're looking at paying him 35% of the salary cap, which, unless it's somehow $150 million, they're going to be paying him less. And now the other thing I've seen fans say is that they're upset with Dame for not being willing to give up some salary, but this is something he's already done in his career, which was pretty unprecedented for a guy coming off his rookie contract to give up some salary. After his rookie contract, he could have signed for 30% of the salary cap. He decided to sign for 27.5% of the salary cap, and if you don't think that matters, he's basically making almost $3 million less this season than he otherwise would have if he signed for the max contract after his rookie deal. So this guy has given up money before in a situation off his rookie contract where no other NBA players would really give up money. So asking him to do it again is unfair. He's earned it. He's deserved it. He's a smart guy. He's trying to set up his entire family for the rest of their lives. He's trying to set up himself for the rest of his life. He's trying to set up his future grandkids or whatever for the rest of their lives. I've actually heard people say it's greedy for Dame to take the max, which is one, BS, because based on the market, he deserves it, he's earned it. And the second reason it's BS is because this is a dude who's one of the most charitable players in the NBA. This dude is always out there in the community. He's willing to spend his own money in the community. He also supports his family very well, and he has a pretty big family around him, and he takes care of them. He's not greedy at all, and it actually bothered me that some Blazer fans had the audacity to say that. So in the end, wrapping up this video, Dame 100% deserves the Supermax, and the Blazers should definitely offer it to him this summer. And if he signs it, I will be very, very happy, because I want this dude in Portland for the rest of his career. After what happened with Aldridge, this summer we have the opportunity to make sure that's not a repeat. And it seems like it was just yesterday where Dame was on his rookie contract and Aldridge left us in the dust. But today we have the opportunity to lock Dame up through 2024. So anyway, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I will be coming out with a Pulse episode in the next few days, and I will ask you a question. And the question will be if you would pay Dame the Supermax or not if you had the opportunity to. So stay tuned for that. And that wraps up this video. Thank you all for watching. This has been Tori. I'll see you later. Peace out. Go Blazers.